I've been doing YouTube for over 2 years now, and all the while working a full-time job, staying relatively active, and most recently, becoming a dad. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I've managed to juggle all of these things while uploading consistently and growing a YouTube channel to the point of becoming monetized. YouTube is not an easy space to break into. From the amount of competition to the technical skills required to create, edit, and upload videos, it's not something you can expect to easily pick up and become successful with. It takes time and effort. A lot of effort. And so the first thing that's helped me to manage YouTube as a hobby or a side quest to my main job is to be really clear about my why. Why I spend so much time making videos when, for the first 2 years at least, I had no financial incentive to do so. For me, it's easy. I love cameras and making videos about cameras and just in general, and so I turned something that was already a passion of mine into this YouTube channel. You can definitely have financial goals if you have a YouTube channel, but I think that the main driver to create has to be something deeper than this to keep you motivated over time. Something that's helped to keep me on track has been to create and stick to an upload schedule, or at least a specific frequency. When I first started out, that frequency was 1 video per week because, well, that's what all the YouTube advice out there says. I was able to keep it up for the most part, but it was pretty challenging at times, and this was before I had a baby. I think partly it was difficult because I wasn't as experienced with making videos as I am now, and I didn't have a lot of the systems that I have in place now. Now with a baby and a full-time job and trying to stay in shape and maintain relationships with my friends and my wife, putting out 1 video per week right now would just mean that one other area of my life would have to slide, and I'm just not willing to do that at this point, and so I've updated that frequency to 1 video every 2 weeks. Sometimes I can get a video out quicker than this, and that's fine, but I just don't put that pressure on myself to churn out 1 video per week anymore, because I know that it would just leave me stressed out and inevitably lead to burnout. So not only would I say that it's important to set a realistic upload frequency, but I would also say it's important to reassess and adjust as aspects of your life change. Now, the next thing that honestly makes all the difference to my ability to make videos and all the while stay sane is the system that I've put in place. I've used a bunch of different pieces of software over the years to plan and to organize my YouTube videos, from Trello to Milanote to Apple Notes to Craft, and most recently, Notion. Now, I'm not going to go through my entire Notion setup and make this a Notion video, as I don't think the entire system is quite ready yet to share at that level, but I'm just going to give you a brief outline of how I go about organizing and planning videos. The way that I'm using Notion is basically to plan the 3 stages of my video creation: ideation, planning, and shooting. The ideation aspect is pretty simple. I have a database of all the video ideas that have come to my mind. When I have an idea, I'll throw it in Notion. My video ideation is very sporadic. A lot of the time I'll come up with ideas on the drives to and from work. Other times I'll actually sit down and try and come up with 20 video ideas. It doesn't really matter to me as long as I have a long list of video ideas to choose from. You'll notice that all of the ideas are tagged with a status of idea. In the status dropdown, I have idea, research, scripting, shooting, and editing. Once every few months, I'll go through this list and I'll pick out the ones that I'm most interested in at that time, and I'll set some dates for when I think I can publish them. So I'll basically pick my next 4 uploads, and then I'll move into the next stage of my process, research. This is basically where I just come up with the concept of the video, come up with the title and the thumbnails, and then I start scripting. Most of the time, I actually script my videos in notes on my phone as the inspiration comes to me, and then I move the scripts into Notion after. Some people don't script at all and they just riff on camera, and I commend people who can do that, but that's just not me. After I'm done writing the actual script for the video, I'll start working on the outline for the video, where I want B-roll to be overlaid and where I want to deliver the line to the camera like this. I do this by using a 2-column layout in Notion, where I have the script on the left, and on the right I note the B-roll lines. I'll highlight the B-roll lines in yellow as well, just to make it more clear. I'll explain why I do this when I get into the next part of the video, but next up in my process is filming, and then editing, and then publishing. It doesn't really matter what your system is or what specific software you use, but I do think it's important to put some kind of system and structure in place. The next way that I've been able to manage all of this is to try and figure out where my bottlenecks are to putting out videos. What I mean by this is looking at the entire process from ideation to publishing. Which steps in there are causing me the most amount of headaches and stress, and is there anything that I can do to make it either easier or more efficient? For me right now, my main constraint is the time that I have to film. Because I don't have a studio and I'm shooting videos in my living room while my wife and baby are here, there's limited amount of time that I have to film without any disruptions. Pretty much I either need to film while they're not home or when they're both sleeping. By the time everyone's sleeping, I'm generally pretty tired these days, and so I tend to try and time my filming around when my wife and baby aren't here. It just so happens that right now I'm filming this video while my wife and baby are out, and I probably have 45 minutes to shoot this video. Now, this was a problem for a little while because the editing aspect is actually the part of this whole process that takes the longest. And so what was happening was that I had days where I just couldn't shoot, and so I had nothing to edit. What I've changed in my process is that now I record the entire video as a voiceover and then cut that up in Resolve. That then enabled me to start the editing process a lot sooner. I can start overlaying B-roll, I can start putting music in, and it's literally just the A-roll that I need to slot in when I get a chance to shoot it. This is another reason why I do this 2-column layout and color coding thing in Notion. Once I color code the entire video, well, now only a portion of the video needs to be delivered via A-roll, and the rest is B-roll. So now when I shoot the A-roll, I don't actually need to shoot the entire script, just the portions of the video that I actually need to deliver on camera. I used to record the entire script as A-roll and then chop it up and put in B-roll afterwards, but it took me 2 or even 3 times as long to shoot the video. With this new process, I've enabled myself to edit earlier and to shoot less. These are the kind of things that can make managing YouTube a lot easier, and this leads me into my next point. I develop templates or systems for things that I do over and over. The more efficient I can make each step of the process, the more likely I am to want to do it. I hate doing the same menial tasks over and over again, so if there's something that I can automate or create a template for, I'll do it. A good example of this is my DaVinci Resolve settings. One of the things I just hate doing is editing audio, and so what I did was created a global Fairlight preset that saves all of my effects from EQ to compression, high pass filter, all that stuff. And so now when I create a new timeline, I just click the Use Fairlight preset box, pick my preset, and all of those effects are now automatically applied to my audio tracks. I don't have to do anything. I also have export settings saved so that all of the settings that I need to export my videos, I've saved as a preset, and I don't need to think about exports at all anymore. Camera settings are another one. I've saved all of the camera settings that I use to shoot my videos in the camera's memory, and so literally all I have to do is turn the camera on and start shooting. I don't even have to think about the camera settings. Color grading is another one. I save my most used color grades as power grades in Resolve, so all I have to do is apply the power grade to my clip and then make minor adjustments to the exposure or the white balance if needed. Similar to saving templates or presets for repetitive tasks, I also have pretty solid organizational standards that I've set up along the way that make things cleaner, easier to navigate, and more importantly, to reduce the amount of stress on me during the editing process. This comes in 2 main ways. The first one's an obvious one, but something that I neglected for a long time. I developed a standard folder template. So when I start a new project, I just duplicate my template folder, rename it, and all the subfolders I create for every video is now there, and I can just start dropping media in there. Next up, I've created a library of sorts for sound effects, music, backgrounds, overlays, you name it. Essentially, it's just a bunch of songs and sound effects and overlays and backgrounds that are accessible to use on every video I make, rather than having to go find the songs or the sound effects in each project folder for every single project. These are just a few examples of things that I've done that make my whole process more efficient, cleaner, less stressful, and easier to manage even with a baby and a full-time job. Everyone's process is obviously going to look a little different, but if you're looking to upgrade your process, I'd encourage you to ask yourself the same questions that I asked myself. What is causing me the most amount of friction to create videos? Which areas am I spending the most amount of time? And are there things that I do over and over again that waste time? and then look to each of those things and try to figure out a way to better those aspects of your process. Lastly, I want to touch on something that's probably the most important thing that I've done that helps me manage YouTube and just my overall life in general. To take breaks when I need to or when I want to, and to not neglect my physical health. Because YouTube is not something that I rely on financially to support my family or to pay any of my bills, there's really no reason why I should let myself get burnt out. It's probably the #1 benefit of having a full-time job while doing YouTube. If I want to take a month off to enjoy the holidays with my family, I can, and I did without any worry. The physical aspect is obviously super important too. I feel way sharper, more creative, and just better overall if I'm doing something active 3 or 4 days a week, and so it's something that I've really tried to prioritize. Alright, I hope this video has been helpful to some of you that may be in the same boat of pursuing creative ventures on the side to your main job. And I just want to say, keep going, keep moving forward, keep progressing, don't give up. Subscribe if you want to see me again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.